viewers' discretion, because I mean, if
there's spoilers.
not just spoilers, be emotionally and mentally ready. If you are not spiritually strong, this book is not for you. Because I've said it and I'll say it again. I called this girl, I messaged her, sorry.
Why did you
pick this book?
I died. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know where I picked it.
You have discretion, sharp.
I just picked it. Hello, my name is OVASE, and with me here today is
Jamila,
aka
Hadjong, the talking addict.
Okay, and today we are here to do something very exciting. We will be reviewing Kang's The Vegetarian, and coincidentally, this book or Kang herself what happened to Kang?
Won the Nobel Prize.
Yes, Nobel Prize for Literature, and that's the book. We didn't know she was. It's like we made her win. If you think about it,
I know, right? Because that's why I asked you, what made you pick this book?
You understand? I saw the future. I was like, let's just read this book. Something is going to happen, and boom, something happened. I think it was like 2 days or a few days after we posted this thing. I was like, okay, this is the book I'm going to read this month. And the next thing I was like,
You needed to see my shock. You know, I sent it to you. You needed to see the shock. I was like, is it because you thought or you knew she wasn't?
I did not know anything, sister.
A lot of theories were going through my head.
I didn't know anything. But this is like, it's a very interesting book. I don't think a book has annoyed me this much and made me think this much in a very long time.
Viewers, let me tell you, the emotions in me, the things that I want to say about this book. If you search my head, YouTube, you're going to remove me.
See, there were so many times I was cooking or I was doing something and I was reading or like listening to the book and I was like, this man.
So, for this particular review, you're going to be emphasizing the
fragility of life.
Okay.
I think that's like one essential theme in the book, how fragile life is. And this book is divided into how many parts?
It's divided into 3 parts. So we have
the first one is The Vegetarian.
Yes, which talks about which is narrated actually by Young-hae's husband, and then we have the Mongolian pack. Mark. Yeah, sorry about that. Which talks about
what is a Mongolian mark? It's a birth mark, right? It made me search for like what's a Mongolian mark, and I was like, okay, it's a birth mark.
You know,
and
it never really occurred to me to search for Mongolian mark.
I
knew it was a birth mark, but I was like, is it kind of different from what I have here, or it comes in a kind of sticker, tattooish kind of thing?
They said it's normally round. What I read, I really did not like look for pictures. I just wanted to like have something in my head to understand the book I was reading. So they said it's either round or to like shapeless or different kind of shape.
So this is considered a Mongolian mark?
Not really, because Mongolian marks disappear as you grow up.
Oh,
that's why the husband was shook. The brother-in-law was shook that her own did not disappear.
Yeah.
And he was now curious and made him do all those.
Yeah.
We get to that later.
Anyway, you're in for a ride.
Then the third part.
The third part is called The Flaming Trees.
Yeah. So this is the part where we meet her sister properly.
Yeah.
And kind of understand her sister. So, first of all, I would like us to talk a bit about the author, right? Kang, right? She's a Nobel laureate now. She has won the prize, and seeing articles and stories and everything about it's kind of encouraging the reading culture in Korea because of how we. And I kind of like that because reading is something that everybody's like passionate about at first, and before you know, it's kind of gets relegated to the sideline and things like that. Even personally, I used to read a lot. Then this year I was like, no. I didn't read throughout last year, and I started taking reading seriously. And when we became like highly creative, I was like, okay, what's something different that nobody else is doing that is a bit of me and things like that. And I was like,
I like the fact that it brings Korean into this limelight, you know, not just their movies, not just their dramas, not just the culture itself, but it's a unique way to bring a unique direction to bring Korean into the light, and it's really nice, and I love it for them, to be honest.
Yeah, and you know, like I can't really say I have read like a truly Korean book. The only book I have read that was Korean was this Jenny Han's To All the Boy I've Ever Loved series. And
Okay.
you know, that's the
You haven't read I Love Toboki? I love is it If I Don't Eat Toboki I'll Die?
Oh yeah, something like that. I want to die, but I want to eat toboki. Yes, I want to die, but I want to eat toboki. That was actually the book I wanted us to read before this. But I was like, no, there's so many people who are analyzing it, so many people have talked about this book. So I wanted something that was new as well. If not, that was the book we have read. And we would have not gotten into this Nobel Prize winning frenzy that we are in. Let's get into Han Kang herself. So Han Kang was born in 1970, I think, in Gwangju. Now, I saw a very interesting interview of her, and she was like, her father was also a writer, he was a teacher, he was a writer, and then they had to, all of a sudden, her father just said, they're leaving Gwangju. And I think they moved to Seoul or somewhere. Then after they moved, I think it was in 1980 that the Gwangju massacre happened. So, like, lots of people were killed because of something with the government and things like that. So, it's a very sad time for Korea. And the whole period, that period is called the Gwangju massacre.
I think it's May 18th or so.
I can't remember the date. But what I noticed from that interview is she kind of has survivor's guilt, right? You know, when something bad happens, right, and you survive and other people don't. So it was like she feels like she could have easily been in Gwangju when that massacre happened, and her and her family would have been
affected by it.
Yes, they could have been part of it. But now that she survives, you could see like the pain in her as she was narrating the story and stuff like that. And I felt really, really bad for her. And I think we can see that newfound respect and attitude to life in all her books, right? And it's reflected in The Vegetarian. You get to see just how fragile, how easy life is to lose, to go astray and things like that.
This is normal one day and be another day.
So that's something that is huge in her books. Now let's get into this book, because that's why we are here.
Let me tell you, we have gotten into this book already.
So I am very angry, very, very angry by something. I'm also very pissed the moment I started this book.
Don't you think we should give viewers discretion? Because I mean,
there's spoilers.
Not just spoilers. Be emotionally and mentally ready. If you are not spiritually strong, this book is not for you. Because as I've said it and I'll say it again, I called this girl, I messaged her, sorry.
Why did you
pick this book?
I died. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know where I picked it.
You have discretion, sharp.
I just picked it. And there's spoilers. But I think it's kind of good spoilers, right? It's good spoilers in the book. It's things that would encourage you to want to read the book. Mm-hmm. But if you know, like, you're the kind of person that does not like spoilers, pause this video now. Pause it, go and read the book and say what book. Then come back. After you read it, then you come back and you watch this video, and then we can be in this same mental frame together that we are in now. But just to give you like a tip of the iceberg, right? Small, let me show you the introduction of this book. This is what it says, right? It says, before my wife turned vegetarian, I'd always thought of her as completely unremarkable. This is a husband describing his wife. Please, let's note. This is a husband describing his wife of 5 years. And he says, before my wife turned vegetarian, I'd always thought of her as completely unremarkable in every way. Mm-hmm. To be frank, the first time I met her, I wasn't even attracted to her. Please, why did you marry her? Middling height, bald hair, neither long nor short, jaundiced, sickly looking skin, somewhat prominent cheekbones. Her timid, shallow aspect told me all I needed to know. As she came to the table where I was waiting.
Can I pause you there? You know, that description in my own perspective describes someone that is calm, someone that is easygoing, someone that is, so, like he said, and in his own words, timid.
See,
it doesn't sound like a problem.
I don't think there's a point in this book where this man gives high compliment. The only thing he said relatively positive about her was her cooking. That she cooks nice, the mother cooks nice, the sister cooks nice, the she cooks nice.
But he still...
Hey, God don't mess.
No spoilers.
So now we're going to try and avoid spoilers, and we got some reviews. We are going to talk about these reviews and talk about if we agree with them, right? So read the first review.
So review number 1.
Just say the first name of the person.
Okay.
No, just say the first name. You don't need to say it.
Review number 1 by Victoria. It had 5 stars, and she said, very good, gave me the chills. I feel like this is one of those books that you will read multiple times and learn something new each time. Do you agree with that?
1000%. 1000%. I will say I agree, right? Because I read the book twice, not the whole thing.
Okay.
Right? I was supposed to read the whole thing twice, but like there's a point where this book just annoys your spirit.
So would you count going back to listen to what they say over and over again as listening to it twice? Because that's what I did. There's a point that I couldn't really believe my ears because, oh, mind you, I listened to the book. I didn't actually read it.
All you judgy people, reading a book, listening to a book, all of them is reading. Please, all of them is reading.
I read it.
So whether it's audio book, the thing is, I know how to pronounce the names correctly, right? I have to paint the picture in my head as well. And you that are reading the one that they are physical copy, I'm not judging you. Either is nice, is good. But whatever way you can consume literature, consume, whether audio book, movies, if it's you're waiting for it to be turned into a movie or the physical book, shall read.
Yeah, I agree with you. So I listened to the book, and there were some instances where I couldn't really believe my ears, so I had to actually go back. So would you consider that?
Kinda, but you were reading with like shock, right?
Yeah.
You're going back to, there's a lot of shock aspects of the book. But me, what I did was I read the book, then I went and was like, let me go and check what other people think about this book. I'm not the only crazy person. I'm not the only person that cannot understand this book. And like the introduction we just read, right? She said when you like this review says that you will read multiple times and learn something new each time. Now let me tell you what I learned when I went back. So this introduction at first, I was so pissed with how he introduced his wife, right?
Yeah.
But when I was reading it the second time, when I was reading it the second time, right, and saw how normal, and I was able to like separate myself from just my annoyance and just critically analyze the book. I realized like she was a normal person. Right, she was as ordinary as they come, which is exactly what he said. So why did what happened to her happen to her? Why did she have to like spiral so much and lose so much herself? Because you can describe me the way he described the wife. You can describe anybody the way he described the wife. Like everybody's basically ordinary, doing normal things. So from the second time, I just realized that okay, there was nothing special about her. Essentially, what he was saying. It's not like he was insulting her. It was like there's nothing special about her, but
she is just the way she is.
No, in the sense like there's nothing special about her, meaning she's like every other person. So what happened to her can happen to you, can happen to me, because there's nothing special about her. So it's not like she had some big life changing. Because when somebody loses themselves in the way she did, we always try to question why did it happen?
Exactly.
How did it happen? But this, like I said, Kang always talks about how fragile life is. This shows that it could happen to anybody, right? There's nothing spectacular about her. If it happened to, like, let's say a musician or a politician or a CEO or somebody that is handling some big position or has some sort of power, like, oh, maybe it's the power that got to him, or maybe it's this that got to the person.
But she's just as ordinary as everyone else in the family.
Exactly. So it's nothing to I stopped seeing it as an insult and more of like as a description. So that was what I learned on my second read from this particular part.
All right.
I was angry, but the anger has reduced. Okay, so Sylvia says this book is strongly wonderful, terribly distressing, beautifully written, and a mysterious novella. If you want a feel-good read, this is not for you. This is not the book for you. If you want to read and be
I
happy,
wonder what they were expecting.
this is not the book for you at all. Becoming a vegetarian opens up a disclosure of sorts. Male domination, suffering, otherworldliness, etc. Vegetarian choice seems a symbol of self-destruction to expose societal ills. That is, extremes aptly define Hank's meanings. As distressing as this book is, I will recommend this incredible book. Okay, the wordings here is a little all over the place, but I think we understand it. But let's talk about what she said. Right? So we've established that this is not a happy book, right? It's not a feel-good book. Then she says that becoming vegetarian opens like a disclosure of some sort. So what did you think her becoming vegetarian like did in the book? Because this is literally the title of the book. So what's the
It's funny how I was coming to that question. Why is the book named The Vegetarian? And in getting to, read the book, or should I say listen to the book, I was trying to get the reason why she became vegetarian and the incidents that happened in the book. I was trying to bring them together to understand why the name of the book. Because I'm as dumbfounded as her husband and her family. Listening to it, I'm like, I was so anxious to get to the part that stated why she wanted to become, why she just woke up one morning and decided to become a vegetarian. If you'd ask me, I would tell you, I don't know.
Okay, for me, I think the book is called The Vegetarian because that was like the starting point of, because if you see the book kind of starts out a bit slow and kind of a bit boring, and things start to happen when she becomes vegetarian, right? And it's like that was the tipping point. And then we already, first of all, this book is not narrated by Young King, who is the protagonist, right? We first of all see the first part, which is like the vegetarian, is narrated by the husband. The second part is narrated by her brother-in-law, who is, we will get to. Okay, so for me, right, she became, the point where she became vegetarian was when the book started. Right? So, and you see there are lots of traumatic experience in her life relating to violence, right? And she decided like, okay, she doesn't wear a bra, right? She's trying to go against societal norms, right?
Which I actually applauded her for. Like, if you feel that way, there were two things that came to mind. The fact that she wanted to be she didn't want to act according to societal norms, and the fact that I just felt she was being rebellious at a point. And again, three things. I feel that was kind of part of the beginning of her mental illness.
I think her mental illness would have not spiraled so much if she had people in her life that understood her. Exactly. Because let's say now, I come to you and I'm like, oh, Jenny, from now on, I want to be vegetarian. What would be your response?
Oh, why? Why is there a reason? And but I asked you why. Even if you have no reason, I'll still respect.
Exactly. No one respected her. Her husband basically ate one meal a day, right? And she was like, you only eat one meal a day here. If there's no meat in that meal, you'll be fine. And according to him, she was still a good cook. He said there was a meal she made and she made it with mushrooms instead of meat, and it was still edible. He still enjoyed it. Yeah. So it's not like becoming vegetarian made her bad, right? Even the point I was so pissed in this book was when he took her to that meeting with his colleagues and his boss, and they were so degrading and
I think before we see let's talk about her family.
Because her family, like, it's especially her dad, her dad, her brother, they didn't try at all to like
Even her mom.
I will give her mom a bit of credit because her mom is a mom, right? I can see a typical African mother doing what her mom did. You understand? Because her mom, even with the drug, right? What was it, pig's blood or something that the mother brought to the hospital? There's a kind of concussion that the mother brought, and she even in the concussion she puts like a lot of herbs, a lot of things to max the blood smell and things like that, so that it was goat something.
Yeah, goat.
Yeah, it was goat something.
What kind of even made with the meat?
The meat of goat.
The meat of goat.
So it was. How about like someone says I'm vegetarian for crying out loud, and you want to give them herbal drugs, and you give them the one that is made with goats? Like, make it make sense.
And then you now put all sort of
Like I could see the motherly love, I could see the motherly care, because even when her husband said, "Don't go to the hospital and see this girl," the mother still went to the hospital and took drugs. So I could see the care. It's the father trying to force feed her meat, having her brother and her husband hold her down, then going as far as to hit her on the face. No,
in front of
in front of her husband, in front of children.
I felt like flogging the husband, but I mean, we're talking about fiction here, so
No. That was it. And it shows you just how violent the father was, right? And if you ask me why she became vegetarian, I will tell you it's because of the violence in her life. Right? There's a part, an introductory part, where she talks about when a dog beat her.
Oh my goodness, that part.
It was so gruesome and very brutal. So according to the book, if you get beaten by a dog, you are supposed to eat the meat of the dog to get better properly. So, which makes absolutely no sense. So, and the father said he heard that actually tying a rope to a dog and dragging it around was a more merciful death than killing the dog at the go or shooting it. How is that more merciful? Like, make it make sense.
And you could tell that she didn't really want the dog dead, even in as much as she was really angry. You know, there are some words that when I listen to them, I don't know how she particularly narrated them, but at a point she felt pity towards that dog.
Yes, especially to the end where she saw that it was dying.
Yes, dead.
And she ate the dog, by the way, at that point. She ate the dog. And she felt like, what's it called? She felt a bit sorry, a bit guilty for eating. And I think she said she didn't eat much or something.
Yes.
She ate. But that was why later on, when she now said she could feel the soul of all the meat she has eaten in her body. So it was kind of like that guilt, that violence. And that's why I feel like her father hitting her, right, was a huge spiral for her. Because because she was still eating normally, right? Before the family dinner, she was just not eating meat. She was still sane, she was still okay, she could do things on her own.
Ate the rice without
she was selecting
the soup
food
that had meat.
Exactly. Even she was eating the kimchi, she was doing everything. Still preparing meals for her husband and still putting on clothes at this point, even though she gets to take them off later. But when her father now becomes physically violent towards her, I think it reminded her of all those, like the violent way we get meat. Let's be serious.
Okay.
Going vegetarian is not a bad thing. It's actually good. It's commendable because when you see how some of these animals are killed, the conditions they are in, you're just like.
I think those are even part of the main reasons why people go vegetarian.
Yes, because you can't just imagine causing harm to another creature in that way. No matter how delicious or how nice meat is, we cannot ignore the fact that this is actually a brutal process just for you to get satisfied and feel like, oh, I just had a really good meal. Like, you start to ask yourself, is it worth it? Right? To like a whole cow. This is a big, and if you see animals sometimes, how much emotions they show, how much care they have, how much love they have to give, and even having it to be a dog that we know is like one of the most caring animals, like humans are able to
loyal
to it and that, and loyal and things like that, and having it being killed in that way, and you are now like, okay, I want to go vegetarian. So I don't think her going vegetarian was the problem. I think not having that support group, not having that community of people to help her and understand her and like stick by her. Like you can even want to like dress naked and walk on the street, and we've got your back.
So why did you think she never went vegetarian before she got married? Why wait after?
I think it's just, that's why I said, right, the fact that she was described as a very ordinary person is just, it's beautiful, because it shows you that it can be anybody. There's no time, no time into it. We always expect, like the question you're asking, you expect one big thing to have been the reason, right? You expect the person has to be like this. It cannot happen to me. The person has to be this and this and this and this. But this book is telling you like there's no big thing, right?
Nothing huge didn't have to happen. I literally put myself in her shoes, and at the point I got a bit sad and a bit, depressed in a way, because having to put yourself in her shoes, that's a very big shoes for someone to fill.
Sure.
And I could imagine all the things she went through, especially with her husband and her unsupportive or insupportive family.
Let's see the next review. What did it say?
Okay, so the next review is by Anu, who gave it 5-star also. She said, if you are sensitive and mentally balanced, this book will make you ponder, just like what I just said, it will make you ponder about the delicate lines between sameness. But if you are already depressed or sad, your illusion may increase exponentially. Well written and a tragic gem. I love her review.
It's beautiful. Like
this is literally how I felt.
Yes, it covers the book completely.
I don't have to say anything.
It covers the book completely. And I like the fact that she was like, if you are sensitive, right, and mentally balanced, this book will make you ponder. And I think
what do we call it now?
Disclaimer
as in viewers.
Discretion is advised, because I think that's why I feel Kang deserves the Nobel Prize, right? Because for being able to write a masterpiece like this, right? Because this is a book that makes you feel different kind of emotions. Yes, we read books for fun, but this book brings deep questions. How it makes people have deep conversations.
Like she said, you would ponder about sameness, and you would even be thankful to that effect that you are one of those people that are not moving mad, not in the no pun intended. You are moving. You tell God you're not moving mad.
I think for me, what the book did was it made me realize that, because in Nigeria, right, we see people on the streets who are not mentally sane or have some mental issues, and they resort to like living on the streets, and we have a term, we call them, people discriminate against them, people avoid them and things like that, and you always think like, oh, look at this person, like look at this fine man, look at this man with like really nice skin and things like that. And it's very easy to think of it as something far-fetched, something other, something that does not affect you personally, because you feel like, me, I have a job, I have family, I have this. It's like, it can happen to you. It can be you. And these are the kind of things that you start to think and start to realize that
dancing into pain.
Exactly. And you'll be appreciative of the kind of family you have, of the kind of people you have around you, or of just your own mentality,
honestly,
the way you think about things. And it makes you more accepting of other people and be like, okay, this person says this is what they want, then let me support them.
Yeah.
So this is that kind of book that affects you without really doing too much.
Yeah.
So that's how.
Good review, Anu.
Yes. So let's go to the next one. This person's name is difficult, so I'm just going to say SV. SV gave it 5 stars as well and says the book starts off a little slow. I agree.
Yeah.
But the story gets so gripping you can't stop reading. A page turner that sends chills down your spine. So well written. Loved the experience of this book. 10/10 will reread. Okay, SV, yes, it starts slow. It starts slow.
I said so earlier on.
Until she became vegetarian, it was pretty much just family, basic, ordinary life. But Yes, I think it's necessary to read it emotionally.
Okay, I think I'm going to, I will do that. I will read it.
You should read it again. Okay, next one.
Okay, so the next one is by Kay, who also gave it a 5-star and said, my daughter gave me this book. Reading it was a wild ride, a visceral experience, and a revelation. Thanks be to my daughter and to Kang for the needle-point insight into our crazy, beautiful human world. Oh.
It's giving. I cannot give this to my mother, by the way, but it's the giving to her mother for me.
Do you know when I'm sorry, but do you know what got into my head? I was like, did the mother do her wrong? Why did she want to punish the mother like that?
It's like I say we're recommending it for punishing people.
But that's not punishing. But I still appreciated the fact that she gave her mother, and it sounds like, I don't know, I want to believe, okay, K is not a Korean, probably. So the fact that she could even give her own special thanks to Kang for the needle point inside, maybe she could pick a thing or two.
Yeah, it's a very good book. It's a very good book, and I think it's a book that makes you think. So if I think also it's like if you have somebody that has this larger than life view of themselves, they're very proud. It's kind of those kind of things like you can wrap and just give them as a gift and like take and humble yourself. Like take and calm down. take read and calm down. This life is not about you. This life is not about you. Okay. So I feel like it's something like that. It's that kind of gift. It's that kind of gift that you can give to somebody. Plus, if you know somebody that's like an artist, or somebody that is because there's a part of this book we're not talking about. The second part, right, with her brother-in-law, right? Say anything you want to say about the brother-in-law and how he forced himself on her and things like that. But I think he was the only one that had a conversation. Right?
If you look at it, what do you expect from the sister-in-law who didn't even do much? Who was just here pitying her?
No, the sister tried.
No, not the sister. Not Younghae's sister, not Younghae. Her brother, Younghae's brother's wife.
Oh, that one. Exactly. She's not a character in this book, please.
So the only person that would have even spoken to her is Younghae's husband.
No, and as twisted as it seems, I think he was the only person that made her feel.
Yes.
Not by forcing himself on her, by painting flowers on her.
But if I would say, from my own understanding, he did force himself on her. It was mutually agreed.
No, I would say he forced himself on her because he knew her mental condition.
Good. That's what I was getting
to. No. You cannot say he did not force himself on her. He took advantage. Okay, let's not say forced himself.
Exactly.
Let's say he took advantage.
No, I agree with that word.
He took advantage of her. But her husband forced himself on her.
Oh, yes.
This is a common theme in the book. And you see just how men are easily willing to take advantage of women and like exert their power, their influence. You see it in the father, you see it in her brother, you see it in her husband, and then again, the only man that respected her, what was his name? Was his name John? The second model. The model guy.
James. Is it James or John? I think
something one J name like that. So he was the only one that was like, no, she cannot. And he appreciated the beauty of the act of what Younghae's husband was trying to do. He appreciated Younghae's husband, was trying to do. He appreciated the beauty, and that's why he was like, oh, let me see. And he was like, oh, this is really good. Then when they say come and model, he's like, nah, well, this thing is too good not to be a part of. He becomes a part of it, and when he's going overboard, he's like, nope, and he steps out. But that's in his husband. My God will punish him. My God will punish. See, I know he's the one that had like the longest conversation with her, took her out for ice cream.
But don't you think he did all that for a reason? Like, I mean, the Mongolian Mark, he did that for a reason.
But still,
it's still part of the exploitation you're talking about. He did that for a reason.
I agree he did it for a reason. But I'm just saying, I got to know her more
through him.
right? Not her before becoming vegetarian. Her in that process, how her mind was working, what she was feeling like. I got to know her because of it. Because he was the one that noticed, like, okay, if you call her and she doesn't say anything, that's a yes. Right? If she's quiet, that's a yes. You understand? He picked up those little patterns about her new self.
Yes.
Right? Her husband was like, she has become the thing that I never
lost at that point.
So stepped out. She was living on
out of the picture.
Yes, he was out of the picture. So the husband did not even have patience for any of all the drama. It's like, you are disrupting my normal, bye. And that was what Inhe was angry about. Like the husband did not even stay, he didn't try. All those things. So that's it. Okay, I think I'm to read now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's read the next one from Jamina. Abby, you're the one that read this one. Yes, you're the one that read this one. Just tell us. You can confess. We will take it. Okay, talented writer, compelling story, but not about vegetarianism, as much as oppression and misogyny. Parts narrated by men are hard to read and repugnant. I agree. And as a female, I can't help but feel that a male writing about a female with mental health issues caused by patriarchy may be lopsided and a type of misogyny in itself.
She's absolutely
She gave
right.
it 3 stars, by the way.
Why would you think she gave it 3 stars?
She gave it 3. I'm not telling you I think. I'm telling you she actually gave it.
Yeah, but why do you think she did give the book? You know, what we've been reading so far, 5 stars.
Yeah. No, I think there was one. The one I read,
Okay.
The one by Sylvia was 4
stars. Okay.
4 stars. All the rest have been 5 stars.
5 stars.
But she gave it 3 stars.
I think she was really triggered.
It's not about you. I just think it's a different perspective, right? And that's the beauty of this kind of book. Not everybody's going to read it at
Yes.
So it's going to spark like those debates, those discussions. Because even the fact that I would give the book a 5 star because it is very different from any other book I have ever read. So I like the new experience, I like the new insight. So I personally will give it a 5 star, right?
Same here. 10 stars.
But I still agree with what she's saying. And that's the beauty of this kind of book, is the fact that everybody's going to have a different kind of interpretation to it, right? So there's nothing she says here that is wrong. And the book is not about being vegetarian.
I just want to take you back to my questions, which she even stated, and which I want the viewers to understand. By the way, she said a compelling story, but not about vegetarianism as much as oppression and misogyny. So basically, not about. I was trying to still understand
why
that.
the title is. I think
at a point, I got to understand that I should just let it be.
The focus is not the vegetarianism.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the violence, right? And the vegetarianism highlights that.
Yeah.
It's the what's it called now? The tipping point. That thing, like, what do they
say?
There's something that broke the camel's back. There's the last straw.
The
straw that broke the camel's back. So vegetarianism was that last straw.
Okay.
You understand that now spiral.
Yeah.
So everything started from becoming vegetarianism, but from becoming vegetarian. But the book is not about being vegetarian. It's not encouraging you to become vegetarian. It's not telling you this is how people who are vegetarian live. No, that's not the focus. It's telling you this was the tipping point. So, and she just decided to pick that as the title. So if you were to title the book, what title would you give?
You want me to beat her Kang?
Yes. Let's see if you deserve a Nobel Prize.
Wow. I can't think of anything.
I would have just said like Young His Struggles or something. Or I would have named it Flowers. Okay. Because when we get to part 3, she literally wants to become a 3. I would either name it Tree or Flowers. Because, right, but you still see now that if you name it Flowers or Trees, it's kind of still like going back to vegetable, which is vegetarian.
Okay, then I'll name her Ugu. Or water leaf.
You get. So I think from the third part where she wants to become like one with nature, become a plant.
But didn't you think she was dying at that point?
She was. She was just killing herself. She
No,
was starving.
not the killing herself, not the act of doing it, but I felt she was literally going towards the end of it. You know, wanting to become a tree. I wouldn't consider that hallucination because she is not saying a 3. She feels like a 3.
But she wants to feel like it.
Okay, let's put it that way.
That part of the book was scary. I'm not going to like the book makes you feel a lot of things. We are not even going to deny that. So that part of the book, I just think I understood her sister more in the third part of the book.
Was there a point where her sister wanted killing her? Slapping her, beating her? You know, when she remembered that incident that happened between her husband and...
No, her sister was not angry. Her sister was not that called the police.
No, I know her sister called the police, but you know, at the third part, there was a part where, is it the scene after her son did something nice, and then she now felt bad as to what she wanted doing, unaliving herself, and then she remembered, oh, she had to be strong for her son. Then she now went into the hospital, and then it took me back, like the audio took me back to where she now went back to the hospital. Then the description was like she walking in and then seeing her sister and then still remembering like that, a little flashback. She didn't know how to feel. Like she kind of questioned herself at that point that why is she in the hospital helping the sister? I don't know if...
No, it was, I think, how I interpreted that part.
Okay.
First of all, Inhe feels guilty that she did not protect Inhe, right?
Okay.
She felt guilty because even from her childhood, Inhe was like the star child, right? And she was the one that, because of that, she was protected from a lot of her father's violence, right?
Okay.
So Young Hye got like the full brunt of it all. Then she also felt guilty that at that family dinner, she did not do anything to stop her father from force-feeding her. So she didn't do anything to help her sister. So she was like, if I had done this, I would have not, maybe my sister would have not become this. And that's why the only thing I would say she kind of felt like she regretted, not really regret, I think it was the part where she became selfish, a bit selfish, was not having Young Hye in her house. Actually saying, oh, I want Young Hye to be in a hospital because those are the people that can take better care of her than me. She had an internal monologue where she was like, she did that because she did not want the responsibility of taking care of her sister.
But didn't you think it was too much? I mean, I don't see it as being selfish.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. These are all guilt.
Because her husband is behaving like a child, then she has another child, and then
your sister is also...
And you know she's like the breadwinner of the family.
Exactly.
So it's too much.
It was a lot. So I didn't see it as selfishness on her part, but she felt she was selfish, right? And I think this book shows that Inhe could have had the same thing as Young Hye, like you said, if not for her son.
I know.
Her son was like her anchor that kept her sane and like made her stick to reality and all that. So I think I just lack the fact that there's a lot of mystery into the characters. I would have liked a part where maybe the mother narrated as well. It would have been nice to see things from their mother's perspective and see what exactly is the father.
And even her brother too.
No, I do not care less about the brother.
Really?
I don't like the guy.
You know, in as much as they had to like obey the father, that is in holding her down, I think there was a part where he was like pitiful towards her.
Was he though?
He was. But the thing is, you know how they are now. You can't just really stand against.
Let me tell you what pissed me off the most about that family dinner scene. You know when she cuts her wrist, right? And they're rushing her to the hospital. And her husband, that's Young Hye's husband, realized that he's wearing 2 different slippers. And she has the time. Your wife is dying. And you have the time to go back and look for the correct slippers. Oh my God. I was like, no.
It's not spoiling too much for this people.
No. I was like, you said?
And I'm going to read it, I mean.
I said, you said what? And the one that is carrying her is now like, those men. Oh no, men are trash.
One was busy thinking about his wife that was stained with blood.
That's why I don't like the brother. I told you I don't like her brother. That's why And the other one that carried her was like, oh, if he moves her dress a little bit, he'll be able to see the Mongolian mark. And I'm like, what in the other way around? There's no same person in this whole thing.
I swear.
It was just too much happened in that space of time, and I'm like, what is happening?
This book will make you question your morals, make you question and judge other people.
Your own sanity said you start asking yourself, because you'll be like, okay, this character, I understand it, then you do something and you're like, no, I cannot relate to you, please.
I thought we were going with the flow, man.
No. Okay, let's see our last review.
Okay, so the last review is by Suruthi, who gave it a 5-star, and she says, this is monotone and beautiful. I fell for the vegetarian. Something about this book is a piece of art. I agree with her.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Like, if you give this book to an artist, I feel like they will come up with like one mad painting,
and they will be deeply appreciated.
Like, I think it's a book for like deep thinkers, right? And even if you're not a deep thinker, it's going to make you think.
Like, oh, you give me this book and then I read it, I'll have like a week or two to digest it.
Yes, you will
before I act on it.
Yes, you continue thinking about it. Like, I have been thinking about this book in little ways, and just like trying to check how people act and trying to like just be more understanding of people. Because let's not lie, we are all critical of humans. When somebody comes and tells you something new, it's like you go and you tell your parents like, no, I don't want to study law again, I want to be a tailor. Wow. Like, they will give it to you hot.
I swear.
You get, and that's kind of what she did, right? It's easy to, from the outside, judge and be critical and be like this and this. You understand? Like, your partner or your husband or your wife comes to you and tells you, okay, I'm not eating meat again. Like, I know you want to be vegetarian, but do you understand that this affects me too? Like, if you're not eating meat, so...
Oh my God, that part where she threw everything from the freezer, that was money wasting. Like, I was looking at it in T-Pain point
like,
of
in
view.
this economy, try it, and you tell me your husband will not react to this
In
thing.
my mind, I was like, why can't she not just finish all the meat and then just be
She
vegetarian
threw
after
out
that?
the eggs.
She threw out octopus,
everything.
the squids,
She threw out
the
everything.
meat. What
years
happened
of
in
supplies.
million one?
Years of supply. So it's not like she herself was perfect.
Yeah.
Or she did not have any flaws, or she did not have any faults, right? It's just, it's a piece of art. Honestly. It's a book that will make you think. It's a book that, and I like how, you know how they say art is like subject to interpretation.
Yes.
Everybody's going to look at it and see a different thing. Everybody's going to
different
read
point
the
of
book
views.
and see something different. So that's how. Okay, I think we've done enough. We've analyzed enough. But in summary, I think this is a really, really good book. This is a book that wherever you are, wherever you're from, you should try and pick it up, read. And if you read it, you can tell us what you think about it in the comment sections. We will definitely reply and tell you if we agree, or if you have just told us something new that we did not even think about. And there are lots of aspects of the books that we did not even talk about.
Yeah, so no judging.
Yes, there's so many things that you can read and find out in the book.
Or interpret in your own terms.
Yes.
And if you want to debate, please, I'm down. Panel of judges are great at debaters. We will debate on this.
Yeah, seriously, I will be willing any day, anytime to talk about this book and how I think about it and how I felt after reading the book.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it for today, and join us. We have no idea what we're reading next, but we will read something. We will read something and we will let you know. You can just follow KCCN's socials, their Instagram, their YouTube, and everything, and you find out the Korean book that we will be reading next, and then we will analyze. Till then, bye.
Bye.